Hello, Retail Rebel friends, family, and customers. Welcome to the Retail Rebel virtual town hall. If you've joined the Retail Rebel virtual town halls before, you know what this is. If not, this is an opportunity that we love to take to have a dialogue with our Retail Rebel customers to understand and get feedback. And we use the chat as a Q&A, live Q&A. So I figure in my years of doing these virtual town halls, I have found that it is a really constructive use of time. It allows customers, when customers come on and they're willing to spend a Wednesday night on Facebook Live to talk to me about Retail Rebel, then I know that they actually do care about the business and care about the services that we provide. And so I certainly appreciate that. And we're going to use the time to go through some of the changes that we've made over the last few months and what is coming up over the next we'll say 4 to 6 weeks, and then in the process, answer any questions that come across. Again, don't hesitate to use the chat, including right now. Would love to know where everyone's coming from. If you want to put like where you're from, or what what town you live in, or what your home store is, I would love to see that, because Retail Rebel is in, wow, I mean, so we're in Nebraska now with our new store, and we'll talk about that. We're in Omaha, Nebraska. We're in Iowa. We are in Kansas. We are in Missouri. We are in Georgia, and via Buggy Busters, we are in North Carolina. So lots going on, and we are, and of course, in Liberty, Missouri, is a big distribution center. So Bellevue, Nebraska, checking in. Tanya, excellent. I love that. And Tanya, I'm not sure if you shop both, if you've shopped Council Bluffs, or if your first experience with Retail Rebel is Omaha. I would love to know. But let's go ahead and get started. First, what have we done? So over the last little bit, we opened up our Monday, Wednesday, Friday auctions. The top rated bargains, the select auctions, now have 3-day pickups. Not everyone knows that. I found that out from the surveys as I started going through the survey questions. By the way, we will answer all of the surveys. There were over 400 responses on the surveys, so a huge amount of people responded. It was an 8.1 average rating of Retail Rebel. Now, I do understand that if someone's had a negative experience, they're probably and they're just like, no, forget Retail Rebel, and they've gone away. They're not going to take the time to fill out a survey. So I know it's probably skewed towards people that have had more positive experiences, but it's still 400 survey responses is fantastic. It's very, very helpful. I usually in the virtual town halls, I assure everyone that I read every single survey response. It's gotten to the point where I can't. So I promise you, I read hundreds of survey responses. I promise you that. But I do have a staff that all of us are reading. If you've responded to that, someone is reading it. And so, and we take a lot of actions. We do a lot of kind of understanding the more consistent feedback that we have. And so we'll go through all of that. But 3-day auction pickups is one thing, and we've added the speed rounds. So speed rounds end every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And we've gotten a lot of positive feedback about that. And then obviously we opened up the new store in Omaha, Nebraska. So that one is his Tanya Shops, Council Bluffs. We have a store in Omaha now, and so that one has been rocking and rolling, and certainly we're appreciative of the folks up in Omaha, and it's exciting to be in Nebraska. Um, okay, the introduce the let's see, we are going to, and we're doing, so I'm going to mention this. I don't know if many of you follow our advertising and our promotions and things that we do. And we have a really great team. Donna and Frank, I'll give special call outs, especially Frank. Frank's our videographer, and he goes around and has does a lot of the promotions and the photos for especially the warehouse auctions. But Donna and Frank have both done a lot of the videos featuring some of our staff, and we had a little fun with artificial intelligence, and we created a little Ben Franklin video. So certainly, it's just fun. We had fun with it, and so love your feedback on it. Uh, Things that are coming. So number one, we've been testing closing our auctions later in certain store, and we have decided it's just a lot of feedback that we've gotten. I think it makes a lot of sense. We are going to start moving most all of our close times to 4 p.m. Or later on Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the selects and the TR and the top rated bargains. So that I would love your feedback on that. If that's actually a negative thing for you, would love to hear why. I mean, obviously, if you work at nights, that's a that will be a challenge. But a lot of people work during the day, and so following items or hearing the alarms go off during the day on their phones, and where they have to jump over and try to bid during the day, to win something last second is more challenging. If you're at home on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday night, it might be a little bit easier. So we're going to push that in order so it doesn't end past like 11 o'clock at night. We are going to compress how quickly each item ends, but it's going to be a little bit more like the speed rounds. So the speed rounds end, I think, every 15 seconds. I believe we're doing something similar to that. So the only exception, I think, is Olathe that tends to have a little bit more lots than some of our other auctions. And so Olathe will probably end, sometime in the afternoon. But we're going to be playing with that. We're not changing the days on it, just the times that we're ending. So 4 o'clock start, the auctions will start ending. Hopefully that becomes a benefit for any folks that participate in the retail auctions. And then, very excited about this one. This one is, I can't explain like all of everything I'm super excited about on it, because I think it's going to take just a little bit for us to get it where we can release more stuff with this. But we are going to be releasing a what we call our distribution center flash auction, and we're starting it out here in the Midwest, fulfilling from Liberty, but it's going to be a special auction that we run. We're not sure exactly how often. That's part of why we call it a flash auction, is because there's not really a set schedule on it. But the way it's going to work is that any customers can bid on it, with exception, and I'll explain in an email why later, except for Dalton. But every other store, whether you're in Council Bluffs or whether you're in Omaha or whether you're in Olathe or Claycomo or KCK, anyone can bid on it. and we will, if you win from that auction, we will ship it to your local store. So the good thing is anyone can participate on it. The downside is that it's going to take a few days for your item to get to the store. Now we're going to work on that, and that's a different thing. But I think it'll be. I'm really excited about it, and so we'll be sending out. We'll probably do a little bit of a video announcement on it as it gets a little closer. But that's going to be. We're going to be piloting it, testing it out this month. So we'll keep you posted, but those flash auctions can really be kind of a number of different things. In the Southeast, we've actually been running flash auctions out of one of our stores, we do quite a bit of like automotive tools and accessories, something that's a little bit more specialized. But it can be flash auctions around apparel and shoes. We've had some really incredible shoe deals, brand name shoes. So we might do a flash auction that's just shoes. Just brand name shoes. So there's a lot of different things that we can do there that I think will just make it a lot more fun and a good way to save a lot of money. So we'll keep you posted on that. That's a big one, and it's going to change a lot of things. I think it'll be something that you can share with your friends and have a really good experience with. The bins. We have secured some really good relationships, some really good contracts. And so over the next little bit, there's really going to be two things. You're going to see a lot of really high value stuff on Saturdays, including what we're going to do is actually post some of the high value items that you're going to find in bins. Now, we're not going to know exactly which stores they're at. But it's going to be things such as like Beats headphones or Apple AirPods or even Apple tablets, those sorts of things, those real kind of high value stuff, obviously worth way more than $11. But we're going to post those, letting customers know what items are going to be going out to the bins that weekend. And then on as part of that, on any of those real high ticket items, we are going to ask for a release so we can take pictures of customers with the items to show like that there are those items in it. We want to make the game a lot of fun, and I can tell you the average retail price of many of our bin rooms it can be between $20 to $30 is the average retail price of items in there. Now, if you think about that, even you buy, most items on a Saturday, you're getting 50% off of retail just on that first day. So that's one of the reasons that full disclosure, why we do this. One of the reasons is if you're going through and looking for those really high value items, we know that you're going to find other items that are incredible deals. And Saturdays are a great day to do that. And so we're going to really encourage that. Part of it, we're also doing the Saturdays of summer. So shout out to the marketing department that's planning a bunch of games and things to make it just a lot of fun. And so you're saving a significant amount off of retail with Retail Rebel. That's our number one objective is that everyone feels like they were able to have their dollars go further. We really feel like, especially right now, we feel like that's an important initiative. But it's always good to save. It's always good to save. And so why pay retail? Rebels never pay retail. So let's see. More food. And so Karina writes, would love to see more food and drinks in bins. That's an interesting one. So I know that we have. So this is really interesting because I do a lot of inspecting at other bins and seeing kind of what other folks are doing, and I know a lot of companies that actually take the food out. We've chosen to leave it in because I have had a lot of that type of feedback. We've had a lot of that type of feedback. So that's good to know. Let's see. I think all electronic items in the auction should have a 7-day return policy. So that I let's put a pin in that, Sharmila, because I am. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Um, let's not put a pin in it. Let's talk about it right now. So Sharmila writes, I think all electronic items from auction should have 7-day return policy. Um, One of the things that we're going to go over is the feedback, and I can tell you right now there was a lot of feedback that talked about that. And now, obviously, 8.1, that's a really great feedback and really good score. And we've seen customer feedback increase significantly over the last 30 days, 45 days. So thank you so much for that, and thank you so much for the team at Retail Rebel that have been really trying to be more customer centric, really focused on the customer. The return policy is one of those things. We know in this business, like, we're dealing with returns. We sell over 100,000 items every single week in our retail auctions alone. Bins, I mean, that's even more than that. So, but in the retail auctions, for us to sell the product at that price, at the price that we sell it, the discount that we sell it, there's really no way at this point to deeply inspect every single item and keep the lights on in the business. We couldn't do it. So that's one of the reasons that we have the inspection, we have the hosts at the retail auctions, is to allow customers to bring stuff in, or to go pick their items and bring it, open it up, and make sure that it matches the item description and the condition. And so that's a really important part of making sure that we're fair. We don't want to make money on stuff that's broken. Customers, that's not a great experience. Then why would people, even at a discount, buy broken stuff? Unless there was still value in it. But that's not what our business model is. So, but we do know that there's items that customers are going to open it and it's going to be something different than what we thought it was when we were selling it, and that's what our return policy is. And so, if you can't inspect it in the stores, customers can bring it home and have a 7-day policy on those items that they can't. So we're definitely bouncing the idea of doing a full 7-day return policy for every item. I would love. I think we have a survey on here, Donna. If you could send that survey out to the customers that are on here, we'd love to get your feedback on it. If the survey, or if a 7-day doesn't really impact your whether you would buy from us or not, because you haven't had a negative experience, I can tell you statistically, our return rate in our retail auctions is about 10%. So 1 out of every 10 items is returned. That of course that's not great, but that is actually like regular retail return rate, and so it's not horrible, but and that's one of the reasons, actually, full disclosure, that we do. I need to publish the poll. I don't know if I can. Oh, I have to create it here. So I won't be doing that because I can't multitask. You guys would see me sitting here trying to figure that out. So in the comments, please put in the comments whether a 7-day return policy would be meaningful to you or not. It really does matter what you guys think. And so, but we're definitely looking at that. So Karina again asks, what happens with partial refunds on auction items that we wanted to keep, but something missing or broke? Used to get it, now they say they can't get partial refund. Either we refund it or in full, or keep as is. So I'll tell you the reason behind that is that it became like a big negotiation for all of our hosts, which And the more contentious, a customer was, the bigger the discount that was being issued, and it was kind of creating not a good scenario for anyone. And it's really hard to train and have a policy of partial refunds that is fairly executed and doesn't put our hosts in a really uncomfortable position. And so that was the reason that we did that. And so I would, and honestly, like most of our stuff is 70-80% off of retail in our retail auctions. You'll get item, obviously many people have won items that are 90+% off. And so I think that's where we kind of landed on that is, that if customers still want the item even with the blemish or issue, because it still is worth it. I've certainly won items where, um, the discount I got still made it worth it. It wasn't as good that a brand new item would have been, but it was worth it. And the other times it's not, and I've had to do the refund, get a refund on it. Um, so yeah, and I think that the example that Sharmila gives is, buying a flat iron pan that worked for a day and then doesn't work again, and that was $70. That's not what we're trying to do. And so I think, uh, electronics, usually everything else I can inspect. I was in a hurry one day and didn't have time to inspect, and I got something that was not complete, but I paid $1 for it, and it still worked kind of. But it'd be nice to have that guarantee, and I think that's really kind of where it's at. Like, so I bought an item. What was it? Oh, it was a headphones holder, and it was a top rated bargain. It was, I think it was only like a $10 item or $15 item on Amazon, and really nice, but it was missing the screw. Which I'm like, how was it missing the screw? Like everything was wrapped on the inside. But yeah, I had to actually like go get a screw, but I got it. I think I won it for like $1 or $2. And so, in that scenario, you should be able to get a refund. Like, it doesn't match the description. Not everyone wants to chase down a screw, to fix it. But I know a lot of people that, for $15 item to get it for $2, and all you need to do is just get a screw, and it works great. Um, it's worth it, but that needs to be the customer's decision on stuff like that. And so, um, those are the policies and the thoughts that we go through as we're trying to figure that out. Obviously, warehouse auctions a little bit different. Wish the warehouse had a return policy at especially Christmas time, but more than 7 days because your major competitor does. Um, I actually didn't know that the Cargo Largo. I'm assuming you're talking Cargo Largo has a return policy. I know many of our management used to work for Cargo Largo, so I'll check with them on that. But um, on the warehouse auction, yeah, we don't have a return policy on that. We try to be fair. I mean, if we've certainly had issues where um, uh, something happened, and we've taken care of the customers, but in general, it's as is, and that's one of the reasons customers can come in, they can inspect it, look at it, so it's a different process totally than like retail where you're bidding just based on our description and the stock image of what this item is. So, um, but 7 days on all electronics is a must. Mitchell, I do agree with you on that. I think that makes sense. But this is also where I'm thinking, do we just do 7 days for all? Obviously, the risk is you folks that have bought retail returns from us in our retail auctions have seen the type of like abuse and theft that people do to companies like Amazon. I bought a hoodie that I was super excited about. I I know I was like it obviously made a significant impact on me because I've never I've never had a really expensive hoodie, and this was like a really well reviewed expensive hoodie that was for sale in our retail auctions, and I bid on it, won it, and when I went to pick it up, it was a Gildan hoodie, which is like garbage. So someone had bought a, the nice hoodie on Amazon and then changed it out to the same color cheap Gildan hoodie. Um, and so you see that type of theft and abuse, and obviously it makes us a little bit, skittish about our own return policies because we don't want it to be gamed. We don't want people, with low morals stealing from us, and so we want, but at the same time we want to be real fair with our customers. So it's something we give a lot of thought on. We'll probably end up sending out a survey to get some more perspective and insight on it. Um, so Gail's asking about reward points for auction items. So I can tell you right now, probably not. They're different systems that we have. In fact, we're going through some really big technology changes in the company that I can talk more on in another virtual town hall when we get a little closer. But probably not going to do reward points for the auction items. Um, so let's see. And I would say, and obviously want to be respectful of really everyone on here. This is, I think one of the things with virtual town halls is, like we want some respect from. We want our customers to treat our employees with respect. We want our employees to treat our customers with respect, and we want our customers to treat other customers with respect. I'm throwing that out there because just make sure that when you're posting stuff in the comments that you're being respectful to people. But yes, there's I do think one of the things that there are a number of things that we're going to talk about, and I don't want to necessarily let's see. So let's one comment in here, Olathe, in the illegal parking. I actually am unfamiliar with where the illegal parking would be on that. Let's operations will. We have a number of Retail Rebel folks that are on these virtual town halls, so we'll definitely look into that. Making sure there's good signage. So signage is a big one. That's one that we've been doing a lot of pushing on our teams to make sure that we've got good signage throughout the stores. So I would say over the next few months, you're going to see some more kind of standardization. And I would say that, opening of boxes in the bins, that's a it's kind of a mixed bag right now, because you like, especially, I mean, I've seen where it's a brown box, you just don't know, and so you need to be able to open it. Obviously, the problem is when people open it and then they just leave it, leave it in pieces on the bins, and that's a problem because obviously, like, we've all seen it where, that first day, tons of just sealed boxes and brand new product, and then by Sunday, even I've seen it on Sundays, but definitely by Mondays, there's so much destruction. And so we're certainly looking at our policies. I'm really excited because internally, one of the things I'm going to mention on here is that we've made some changes in our organization to get some real focus on making that both the retail auction and the bins and the outlets. So if you still have outlets, like, we're going to be making all three of those, putting some big improvements on there. There's some things coming down the line for the warehouse auction. We can't make any announcements on that yet. It's a few months out. It's a big, some big things that we're doing there, but we're really excited about some of the focus that we're putting on these things. Um, let's see. I want to make sure. Oh, another thing that we launched that I forgot to mention in here is um, if you do the retail auctions, you can sign up to have text notifications instead of an email notification in case of like you're outbid. The A lot of people don't necessarily want that, but I do throw that out there because some of the folks that have it turned on have said that they absolutely love it and that it's been a really good thing. You can turn it on, you can turn it off, doesn't matter, to us. But I'm letting you know because some people really like having that little text notification. If there's something that they really want. Okay. So Debbie writes, Omaha bins need to be a bit wider to allow for two carts to go by each other. That is, let's make a note of that. Really so Omaha is a brand new store. That shouldn't I can say that that's a mistake on our part for setting it up that way. That's not a something unfortunately, that's something I've heard at another store that we just talked about not too long ago. So let's operations. Let's make sure that we take a look at that. And that really has to be the test that at least you can get two carts past each other between the aisles. I think you have to. In Omaha, there's plenty of space there to make sure that there's wide enough aisles. Several items I would have bought but could not find all the parts in the bin. Like Mitchell, that is, man, we really are going to put some study behind that. We have, as many of you know, Retail Rebel, and we have a company in the Southeast called Buggy Busters that are under the same ownership now. And so we use that as an opportunity to test out various ways in which we do things, but we're going to be standardizing all the bins. You go to a bin store in Olathe or a bin store in Omaha or a bin store in Georgia or North Carolina, and it's one of our stores, it's going to run the same. And so, but we're going to find the best practices on that, and definitely the opening boxes, and box stations and testing stuff in the bins is one way that I know we can improve. Oh, interesting. So Lynn writes, just my opinion, but promos that encourage locating items for prizes on Saturday contribute to things getting spilled. So Lynn, there was one really interesting feedback that we got that I've seen this. When we put too much product, like on a Saturday morning, or when we're consolidating the bins down and we're stacking the product too tall, I think that's one way that product definitely gets destroyed because people are just kind of moving stuff, and packaging is just not meant to deal with that. So I know that there's that. If people are scrambling looking for stuff. So that's kind of the interesting one, because I know we're gonna have there's one of the things I'm really excited about is the game, right? The I think one of the bin rooms are not convenient. People aren't going there like, oh, it's Saturday morning, I gotta go. I'm looking for a certain item. I'm gonna check and see if Retail Rebel has it in the bins. Unless you shop our bins and really know some products that come more consistently, sure. But it's a game. It's you go in there and you're gonna find really great deals. The average retail price of an item in our bins, it can be anywhere from 20 to 30, over $30 for an item, which means that on average, most of the items you're saving 50 to 70% off on day one. And so it's really beneficial when customers go in and they discover, they find a really great deal. They find an item, obviously, like you hear about the wins where they find an item that's $100 retail or more than $100 retail. Um, but I know it's great when you can find an item that's even 20 or $30 that you were going to buy anyway, and you get it for 11 or 7 or 5. So um, yeah, this is something we have to look at. Debbie brings up we have those huge Costco type carts. So at Retail Rebel, we try to we try to be really lean in how we do things. That's how we can sell items for 60, 70, 80% off. And still be in business and still grow and still open up stores, is because we try to be really lean. It's funny, actually. Costco is very similar. Costco in how they run really lean. Um, but those Costco shopping carts, we got an incredible deal on. We have I was walking through our distribution center today. We have hundreds of them for new stores that we're planning on opening eventually. But it was a great deal. The problem is those Costco shopping carts are enormous. Those are so big. Those are not meant for bin rooms. So we need to look at that. It's what we have right now. I would much rather, we have smaller carts. I'd much rather use the smaller carts for bins and those monstrosities of shopping carts for the retail auctions, because at retail auctions you have bigger stuff oftentimes anyway. So let's operations. Let's look into that. I think getting the right carts in the right parts of our business, I think, would help. Maybe we wouldn't need such wide aisles if we didn't have semi trucks of carts going down the aisles. Um, so that is okay. So Mitchell writes, how about offering your employees tips? I would gladly pay $5 or $10 to have my items pulled for me when I order lots. That would be like $40 an hour in tips. Um, so that's a really interesting one. We haven't considered like a tip structure. Not at all. We just I well, at least I haven't. It hasn't come up to me at all. Um, but uh, we have talked about some kind of a service where we can pick items for folks and have it waiting there, um, for them when they come to get it. There's a number of things that we're doing, and I am metaphorically tipping my hand a little bit on this one, because we're looking at really changing that pickup to be more simplified and beneficial. So, but that's a really, I love that thought process. I don't know if I would do it necessarily on the tips, but I've never heard that option before. So that's kind of an interesting one. Let's see. Jeremy writes, they've not been adding much new stuff on Saturdays in Olathe. Do you mean like, well, because obviously Saturday mornings are our new stock, but you're seeing kind of similar stock that we do. I suspect, if that's the case, yes. So the new stock, the new contracts and new product that we're going to be sending out is going to be, you'll see a lot more of that over the next, let's say 2 to 3 weeks. You'll see that, and I'd love the feedback. Like, use the surveys to give us feedback on that as that rolls out. The, we want Saturdays to be just a super fun day. Restocking should be Saturday and Sunday, please, instead of Monday. Um, we'll look at that. We'll look at that. That's that's an interesting one, because I don't think we're doing any restocking on Sundays right now. We do the Monday restock, but if enough has sold down on a Saturday where it makes sense to restock. And I would, I know that Retail Rebel used to do restocking on Saturdays, like in the middle of the day. We'd like stop, get everyone out of that side of the like checkout, and then like restock and then get customers back in. Um, I don't know how well. Like I think that it was turned off for a reason. Um, just I I I think it was just a. I'm not sure. That's something we definitely look at again, and love your feedback. If you've shopped the bins for a long time, please feel free to comment on there on what your thoughts are around restocking. Staff points for some kind of bonus if tips don't work, maybe. Yeah, it really is an interesting idea. Like, and I'm glad Um, oh, interesting. Um, 3 items, line 5 items, 9 extra tips after. So I'm going to go through. By the way, let me just say, because oftentimes, especially as I'm going through like the Q&A or discussing things, I might miss something in here. Use the chat for any comments. If I don't get to it tonight, I promise you, I go back over the next day or two, and we'll respond in Facebook. So you'll get a notification about that I've replied. um, I really value this feedback. I don't just, it's not just lip service. Like, I promise you, we take the feedback, and we try to implement it within Retail Rebel. And so you'll see a lot of the changes that folks come up with um, in this situation. So Nick says Dollar Tree carts work great. I love the Dollar Tree carts. I think those are great too. Um, don't have as many as I'd like, but they are good, and it is really funny. We are Retail Rebel. We are like, our goal is to build a national brand, and have Retail Rebel stores across the country. We really believe in the model and what we're doing. We believe that we can really get this dialed in and have it be a national brand experience. We're a smallish company. I mean, we're getting bigger, but we're a smallish company right now. Um, but I can tell you that even when we're a national brand, you're probably going to see Costco shopping carts and Dollar Tree shopping carts in our stores, because that's just how we roll. As long as I'm CEO, I think that's gonna be how it's gonna be. Um, let's see. I enjoyed drinks being separate from other types of foods in the bins now. So that's something that we haven't always. Oh, so this is kind of an interesting one. We don't always sort out the food, and one of the big new deal that we have um, is it is enormous truckloads. The quantity of product on these trucks is enormous, and that's why you're going to start seeing some of this real high value stuff, because it's kind of in there. And so we don't want to. It doesn't make sense to like go try to pull out a laptop or an iPad or those sorts of things when you've got 25,000 items on a truck. We got a good enough deal that that can be a great win for a customer that comes across it. And so that's what we're one of the deals that we're doing, and that I'm really excited about, because I think it's going to be an excellent win for our customers, and good program for the company as well. I think we can do that on an ongoing basis. So yeah, you're gonna see some of that stuff, but the food is kind of blended into that in some cases. So I do appreciate the feedback. Um, do understand, like, I'm making a note of that. We're going to see how. I'd love consistent feedback, because I think the benefits of some of the stuff that we're doing, that's going to be coming down the line over the next few weeks, is going to outweigh some of the negative. But that's up to the customers at the end of the day. Customers need to let us know. Laurie says, national brand, please keep $15 Friday bags, please, and thank you. That's the plan. We're trying to build out a system where we can be operate profitably, and stay in business and expand and pay our bills, pay our employees, and but also save deep discount and $15 Friday bags. I mean, you get a full bag of groceries for $15. I mean, man, I literally get a little bag of groceries, and I've had little bags of groceries be 50, 60, $70. So, um, I think absolutely, Lori, I can tell you our goal is going to be to always have that type of a deal. I know, especially like, when you get like close dated food, that's one of those things, or even past date food, when it's like past the best by date. I know that there's a lot of opinions on that, but if you can get a whole bag of that, I can promise you that 90+% are not going to have quality issues. It's going to be just fine. And so uh, I think that's just one really great way to have your dollar go so much further, and that's ultimately our goal. And if past date food is not your thing, like don't buy it. Like that's okay too, because I think there's a customer base that really appreciates it and a customer base that wouldn't touch it at all. We have those employees. We kind of joke about it because. Full transparency, past date food for me, I don't care. I go camping and I'm just glad to have, calories. So I'm, yeah. Okay. Let's see. And then I hear a lot of this. So, you know, I've one of the benefits and blessings of this business is we there are a lot of folks where their humanitarian efforts or their professional efforts are supported by this model. And so I love that. I love hearing that. I know sometimes, especially like retail auctions, we get a lot of folks that are upset because we get a lot of resellers that buy from us, and I honestly I think it's a compliment to like the system, right? Like if we can be a major supplier for people, augmenting their income by buying from us and selling on marketplace or selling on eBay or that's great. We want people to be able to have their lives improved by buying from us, and hopefully we're doing it in a way where we're making money as well, so we can stay in business and grow ourselves. So it becomes like a true win-win. And a lot of folks are upset because they feel like they're competing against resellers. Resellers are consistent buyers. We want to if they're able to, and a lot of resellers do it just as a side job as well. They know that they can buy from our auctions at 70-80% off and then turn around and sell it on Facebook Marketplace, make $5 $10 an item or whatever the deal is, sometimes a lot more than that. But I will say, we certainly want to support both customer end users and resellers, and we want it to be a good experience for both. On a town hall meeting before, something was mentioned about almost opening a store in Independence, Missouri. Is that still happening? Leslie, that is a great question. Thank you for bringing that up. So we did open up 2 stores. We opened up Omaha, Nebraska. We opened up Dalton, Georgia, and there was a lot that we learned from that. They both went very well, but we're finding that that there's things that we really want to get nailed down first before we open up. Independence is on the short list. It's probably our next spot to open. I think from a timing perspective, we actually were deep in negotiations on a specific space. We've kind of held off to make sure that we're addressing and getting some of these things that we're building done, so that way we can concentrate and make sure it's a successful opening. What I can say is Independence is on the short list, likely targeted for the end of this year. But I know originally on the last, it was probably the last virtual town hall, we had planned on opening it by the summer, and I think based on some of the prioritizations that we had internally, we had to bump it. So, but thank you for bringing that up. Yes, Independence was brought up. Yes, we are still planning on doing it, but the timeline has been pushed back just a little bit. Let's see. Oh, that's a great idea. Christina writes, would love an employee praise box for my favorite Olathe KCK employees to receive recognition. I love that. That's a great idea. Donna, if you can maybe get that note over um, to. So we're doing right now. So we've and this I would say that this is probably, let's call this a small failure on my part. We certainly have. I've been CEO of Retail Rebel for just over a year now, and we've had a chance to do a handful of these virtual town halls. Something that I've done in Buggy Busters in the Southeast for years, and it's been just a great opportunity for this type of engagement. Exactly what we're doing tonight, and but we haven't done like a full employee all hands on deck meeting, and so that's one of those things that we're actually doing our first one next week. We're excited about that, to really engage. But man, I like that type of thing where customers can give feedback, especially positive feedback, to call out employees that are going above and beyond. Like that's great. So I love that idea. We definitely want to do that. Let's see. I agree. And Omaha and Council Bluffs always greet me, and it's great to check in with them and see. Like, I love that. I love that. So, and we actually did a virtual town hall just right before this for the Southeast, because they're an hour difference over there, and that was you know I appreciate the feedback both ways. So there was a specific store that was called out where the bin room employees were not good. We've had a number of kind of issues, and that came up and was surfaced in these, and that's one that's a really, like, we can address that really quick and really work on improving. I think that's anytime we get that type of feedback, I do appreciate, because it's very actionable. We can jump on that and really try to shape our culture, shape our how we work with employees, and how our employees work with customers. But the nice feedback is really great too, because it reinforces. I mean, people, this is how people are working, how they're providing a livelihood for themselves for their families at Retail Rebel. And so I think that's a big that's really great to have that feedback go back to our customers. So please, if there's customers or employees that you would love to call out, use the surveys. I promise you, there is some Retail Rebel employee, and sometimes me, that's reading these all of these feedbacks. And so we'll make sure, until we have a way for customers to compliment a specific employee in store, I would love for you guys to just use the surveys to put it there for now. But we'll definitely get something there, because I think that's a good part of building community is compliments. Oh, Debbie, I love that. Clay Como saved our butts finding lost car keys in the day of my son's wedding rehearsal. They were yelling out to the customers, having them keep an eye out for the key fob. Oh, that would be so stressful. And I would hate for your entire family to hate Retail Rebel because you were shopping at Retail Rebel before the rehearsal and lost the keys. So I'm so glad that we were able to help. Pet food has been an absolute lifesaver for us. Pet food is expensive, and you are a volunteer at an adoption coordinator at the Rescue Project. So, man, bless you. Like that is good work, and I'm so glad that that's been good for you. And depending on where you live, Megan, you may want to check out. I know that we've done a lot of pet food in our warehouse auctions, like the big bags, and I think they go for pretty reasonably priced. I mean, especially because like those big bags, some of those things are like $70. Um, I mean, man, that's a lot. Um, One thing I'd like to see is not such early cleaning or of the bins. I see them being thrown away, and that could still be see items. So Masha, that's a good point. Like items that are being thrown away that could still be sold. I've certainly had concerns with that. Because uh, one of I mean this one of the things that's always been a benefit of this industry is like the repurposing, right? Like keeping stuff out of the trash that doesn't have to go to the trash. If someone finds value in something that, this stuff returns used to just go straight to the garbage, years ago. Um, if it can get into someone's hands that finds value in it, great. That keeps it out of the landfills. Um, so yeah, we definitely need to do a better job there, and we're going to be putting that focus on like what that transition is. We're trying to start the transition of moving and consolidating the bin rooms, so our staff isn't here so late Friday nights trying to get things set up for Saturday. But I think that we've definitely got some feedback that I think is very helpful. I consider that very helpful feedback as well. Um, uh, Having Christy Christy writes, having a CEO this involved in the trenches of the business and communicating with customers is rare. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you. Well, that's very nice. Thank you so much. Um, uh, this is a business that you have to like you have to like all of our leadership. We eat our own dog food, so to speak. We go out and we shop the retail. I encourage them to shop the retail auctions. They don't get a benefit over it. They don't get visibility into like bidding or anything like that. But I want them to like go through that experience of winning and see what our customers go through. Go pick items. That was one of the things like a few months ago we went. I won an item, a top rated bargain, and I went to go pick it, and there were like 70 items in that box. I'm like, this is a $2 item, and I have to pick it out of 70 items in the box. I'm like, no wonder our no fines are going like crazy, and so it's just a case of like that surfaced up really fast, and props to the team. They changed. You see those little boxes. So there's only 10 or 15 items in those little boxes to make it so you can find those items a lot faster. It's no $2 item is worth digging for 30 minutes. And so that's just an improvement that those are the types of improvements we need to make before we open up another store. Is like that's kind of basic blocking and tackling, if you will. But again, that's a really nice compliment. We love you guys here in KCK. Great workers and great products. You're also very needed and appreciated. I so I love what I love what I do. Honestly, I love what we do as a company. I think that if we can help people that help their dollars go further, um, especially the last few years, like we've all seen inflation. We've seen the price of goods go up, and I feel like, especially for the next little bit, like it's always good to save money. I think that's always it's always a nice thing, but for some people it's like critical, and we recognize that, we know that, and so if you have family or friends that need to stretch their dollar, please, like, send them our way, and hopefully we can help them do that. Um, and if there's things, and again, this format and the surveys are really helpful for us knowing what things we can do to make it easier for you guys to save money. And so let's see. Do you have a plan on handling customers with ADA? I plan on surgery and won't be able to lift things, hence the tips. That makes sense. Let's see, Mitchell. That's a really good one. When keep in touch with us on that. I would say, Donna, let's talk about that, and Jared, because I think that's a great situation that not a great situation that you have to have the surgery, but a great situation for us to really kind of figure out how we can make it accessible for everyone. So we are at 7 o'clock. So I am going to there's just a few things. Feel free to continue to post in here, because I promise you we're going to go through and put I'll do responses in here, and continue to fill out the surveys. The surveys are really nice because we have your email. We can respond back with an email, and this is this is what we do. This is our jobs, and so. But again, I really appreciate it. Over the next few weeks, you're going to see some big changes in the stores that we've talked about, and over the next month or two, you're going to see some really big changes. Things I'm really excited about. So, thank you so much for the feedback. It is truly helpful, truly meaningful. And remember, rebels never pay retail. So we will talk to you soon.